With Ned McHenry, all thanks to TJM. If you're four-wheel driving and you want to get there, you need to be TJM equipped. Nailsworth and Clovelly Park. Ned McHenry, welcome to you.
Hello, Sammy. We're back into the fishing show. What a great show last week was.
Oh, it was filled with callers. We couldn't fit everything else in.
I loved last week's show. That was a cracking show. We spoke about fishing blunders and who had a couple of stuff-ups on the boat, and wasn't there some good stories?
Oh, God. They were folklore, a lot of those, I reckon, in people's lives.
And we had some good prizes too. I did some driving out last night. Judy got some cockles. I promised her some cockles. Ileana got some cockles. Hamish got that beautiful Adelaide Tackle World voucher. So, and
Yes.
Simon too is going to get that beautiful Shimano reel. So we love giving away a prize, Sammy, don't we? But
How good's that?
that show last week, that was hilarious. I even listened back to that show. It was
Did
great.
You listened back to your own work?
Well, it's not to my own work, it's to the callers' work, Sammy, because the calls were so funny. God, there was some stuff-ups. What Simon had a boat on the ramp, and
Someone lost their boat
Hamish's
entirely?
boat was floating through the Murray Mouth.
Yep.
It was a cracking show. If you do want to listen to it, you can on the podcast, but it's, that was a good show last week, Sammy.
Absolutely agree. And what's better about this program tonight is we are back on the Foodland live stream on Facebook and YouTube. So say hello.
Hello.
To the rest of the world online, and you can jump on as well. Just search FIVEAA Facebook and YouTube. Ned McHenry live on your screen. Tonight we've got a bit of a show coming up and a special guest as well.
Yeah, special guest, Sammy. That's Aaron Habgood, one of Australia's best fishers and most well-known fishers. He, of course, does the podcast with Paddy Dangerfield, probably rivals us over on SEN. They do a good job. But yeah, really keen to kind of pick his brain about all of his fishing knowledge, because he truly is one of Australia's best fishers. He catches some amazing fish.
So he's got some fantastic insights. If you would like to ask him a question, send them through 8223 0000 or flick us a text. The text line is 0448 08 1395. So you can flick through some questions for Aaron.
Absolutely. It's a great opportunity to ask him absolutely anything. He specialises in whiting fishing. He's a brilliant whiting fisher, squid, and he's also probably one of the best barrel fishermen in in Australia. So what I speak of is the barrel is those beautiful big southern bluefin tuna, Sammy, those tuna that are over 100 kilos being caught down at Port Macdonald at the moment. He's a specialist in that, and he's got a web-based platform that teaches people basically how to do it.
Yep.
So if anyone's got any questions regarding how to catch more fish or something on their mind, how do I do this? Am I using this at the right time? Text in or call in and we can ask him on the other side of the break.
Now, you've been up to Darwin. Did you get a fish in?
I couldn't get a fish in up in Darwin, Sammy. It was too much footy up
Would
there.
you have
There was no
liked
fishing.
to?
Love to.
Darwin's a good fishing spot, isn't it?
Would I like to, Sammy? God, I would have done anything.
Any
I would have been
excuse
up
to get
there
fish.
getting some barra. I have been around locally, though, and I'm going to talk about these beautiful southern calamari because, God, they're going really, really well. The calamari, the squid I speak of. So fishing really, really well. And while the fishing slows down a little bit over winter, these calamari will stay really consistent, and some of the bigger calamari will be out and about too. So
Nice.
a really good opportunity if anyone wants to go and flick some jigs around those weed beds. The calamari will be around, Sammy.
All right, well, if you want to have a look for certain things in particular in your area, you've got to listen in. Nettie's Hotspots.
Nettie's Fishing Hotspots.
And it's all thanks to Tackle World Adelaide Metro. Best range, price, service guaranteed. They're at 612 Port Road, Allenby Gardens, or you can go online as well, tackleworldadelaide.com.au.
We love that crew. Hey, before we start, I usually open the show with what national day it is.
You did leave that off.
And you didn't probe me. Do you want to know what day it is today?
I would like to know what day it is today.
It's National Pest Day, Sammy.
Oh, so National Us Day.
It's almost celebrating us. And the other day it is, this is just extraordinary that there's a day for National Drive-In Movie Day.
Oh.
Is that bizarre that that's a day?
It's a bit outdated because we got rid of ours here.
It's almost a bit of a reminder. I mean, you've got a partner. It's almost a reminder for us just to do something nice. Maybe pack the picnic basket.
That's a good call.
Quite romantic, the National. Have you ever done that?
We went to one about last year, just when they were about to close, out north, down out by Richmond.
You're a better man than me. I've got a girlfriend. I haven't taken her to anything like
No.
that. I'd like a nice big fishing. Maybe I fish up there and I can sit back and watch that on the beanbag.
How well would that go down, do you reckon?
Yes, no, not very well,
That's
unfortunately.
why it wasn't a good
Like
idea.
to tune into a Hugh Grant film or something. No, I'd much prefer the fishing. Anyway, back on track, please. Get me back on track. Hotspots. Let's work out where these fish are, because there are a lot of fish around statewide, Sammy. Locally, we'll start there as we always do. The salmon, I've been excited about those, haven't I? Moana and Maslins are the report that I've been getting about those salmon, but scout around because they'll be moving right up the southern coast.
Yeah, wow.
We love the salmon. Anthony, I spoke to, I was at a Crows appearance at Hungry Jack's. He said he's been getting into the salmon trout at West Lakes, loves the show, and said, if you want some salmon trout, West Lakes is the spot. There's also some actual salmon in there too, Sammy. So if you want to flick around West Lakes, a good opportunity there. The calamari are consistent locally, as I spoke about, as well as down on the Flurio. They'll fish beautifully, like right through winter, and big calamari. The prize calamari is about 50 centimetre hood. I'd love to know if anyone's got one of those. Like, that is a seriously big squid, but they are around. And I've been getting some big squid too, kind of off Warina, Cape Jervis, those areas. The local King George whiting, what's going on with them? They're a bit small and thin, Sammy.
Okay, not big enough for your liking.
No, I'm worried about the King George whiting locally because that fishery just, I don't know if it's firing. The gars are going well, the squid are going well, the tommies have been good, salmon are moving up the coast, but the King George whiting, I reckon they're not fishing as strongly as I'd want them to be.
Is this a problem because you think maybe it's something to do with the fish at the moment in the water being, they're not breeding the same as they used to, or is this because they're being fished too much?
Look, fishing too much is interesting, isn't it? Because we've got so many measures in place. We've seen what's happened to the snapper. I'm fearful that this local whiting fishery is on a downwards trend. Okay. As horrible as that sounds. Is the local King George whiting getting better than what it was 5 years ago? Absolutely not. God, no, it's not. Anyway, I won't go any further because
it's interesting you bring that up. If anyone have had people who are fishers in Adelaide or around South Australia who've had these sort of encounters, definitely in the last 10 years.
Do you know what I'm saying though, Sammy? I speak to older folk and they're, 50, 60 years old. They used to go and smash the whiting 50 metres off Glenelg.
Yep.
It's simply not the case anymore. So I'm concerned in 10 years what that whiting fishery looks like locally because they're getting smaller, they're getting thinner. We're having to travel over to Yorks and down to the Flurio to catch them, which is absolutely fine. And the whiting fishing there is going quite well. But locally, I really want that whiting fishery back so we can catch them locally off Adelaide, and it's just not happening at the moment.
82230000. Feel free to call in if you've got any thoughts on it.
Or is it user error? Maybe I'm the problem.
Maybe you could.
Maybe I'm the problem.
Let us know as well.
I'm blaming the fishery. Maybe everyone's out there going bang, bang, bang and getting them and going, who is this doofus? Anyway, local reservoirs, if fresh water is your thing, Sammy, the redfin at Maiponga are going really well, and the Calip too, so that's going quite nicely. The carp are all along the Murray. They are just plagued along the Murray. The redfin are into the lower reaches of the Murray as well, Sammy. So if you want to fish there, albeit the yabbies have slowed down a little bit though, because remember we had that crazy yabby run with all that flooding, Sammy.
Yes.
That was like gather round. That was the equivalent of gather round. Those
pretty
yabbies,
much.
how excited everyone up on the Murray was, and unfortunately they've slowed down a little bit. Over at Yorks, I spoke about those whiting and going okay. Port Hughes, though, I mean, that's a whiting mecca. An experienced fisher there I spoke to, he got 1 off 12 drops. What is going on with these bloody whiting, Sammy? The Balgowan snook are going well. Stansbury, the King George whiting are going okay. And Drossen Jetty, some rat kings getting around. So if you can't catch any of these bloody whiting, a rat king is cruising around the Drossen Jetty occasionally. Don from Pennington, any thoughts on these whiting, mate?
Yeah, well, you got to fish them at the right time. The season's not whiting season yet. Whiting season's the middle of winter. It's only the start of winter. I sent you a photo 3 weeks ago, right at the end of the show, of the whiting we caught off Kingscote Jetty, and it should be there somewhere down the line. I remember sending you, but like I got brothers on York Peninsula, brothers on Kangaroo Island. You got to then. No, one of my next door neighbours where my parents lived up York Peninsula, they're a real whiting. You got to get out there and freezing cold, July, August, and you hammer them. Round the back of Edithburg there, what do they call that little Sultana Point? Around July, August, around there, you only have to go out in 10 foot of water, you get thumper whiting.
Don, I was having a look at my my photo memories from this time 12 months ago. It was about a week ago. I was fishing around Brighton, just in a sneaky little spot. It's within about 300 metres from the ramp moving around. I bagged out on legal whiting out there. I had a bit of a cruise around lately. This was recently. Not a whiting to be seen. And that was this time last year.
Yeah, well, I was born Robin Road, Ethelton, in 1960. And I know the whole peninsula out there, the Port River there, across there, Kangaroo Island. It's a little bit too early for whiting.
Well, tell me this, Don, is the local whiting fishing better than what it was 10 years ago or worse?
Oh, it'd be worse. We used to go out there when you could have 4 in a boat. You take 30 each, you get 120. No time and no time at all.
Of course you did.
We just tie up to the back of a boat like our neighbours on Wallaroo there, and we tie up the back of the boat and we pull in 240 whiting.
Well, this is my concern, Don. We're not doing that now. And what's going to happen when I've got a couple of kiddylings floating around?
You can still do it if you fish right. I sent you the photos 3 weeks ago. We caught 60 whiting, 6 of us, off the Kings Coat jetty.
Well done,
in an
Don.
hour. You've got to be in the right place at the right time.
Yes. I'm hearing you, Don, but you're not listening. You said it yourself. The local whiting fishery just isn't getting better. I want things trending the right way, Sammy, not this is the right way. What am I doing here with my hand?
Upward.
Up. Other way.
Down.
Don, good chat, though. Well done on those
Thank you,
whiting.
Don.
He was happy with those whiting, wasn't he, Don?
No, well, you
He was
would
into
be.
me. He's got to fish in the right time. I get it, Don. I'm
Why
trying.
not?
Fluorio, we spoke about. The southern bluefin tuna are still around. I mean, God,
Nice.
talk about seasonal fish. Usually they're across summer. We know they do hang around, but there's still southern bluefin tuna off Victor Harbour.
How
and
much
Cape
longer do you
Jervis.
reckon they'd be going for?
I'm not going to make a call because
You don't
last
reckon?
time I thought by June they would have really thinned out. The blokes that I speak to who are out there, they're still catching them really consistently. So they're still there. Not as thick as through summer, but they're still there, absolutely. Big calamari I spoke about, were in a Cape Jervis. Salmon off Newland Head, mullet along the Coorong too. And KI, Stokes Bay, heard about some really good King George whiting and Flathead 2 near American River, Sammy.
Okay, nice.
Hey, can I press on? Marion Bay. Spoke to a really good charter operator down there. Love the sound of Marion Bay. I want
it's a
to
good
get
spot.
down there. I want to be there. Anyway, Ryan from Reef Encounters runs a really, really good operation. So Reef Encounters are obviously the business. He's had Paul Worsling on this week, actually, from iFish. So we love that crew. He does a sensational job. So Ryan from Reef Encounters, he said the weather's been tricky, but when they can get out, the fishing's been really, really good. Southern bluefin tuna up to 15 kilos. I reckon we're the best tuna fishery in the world.
You reckon?
South Australia, that's a huge call. But
Bang.
Gummy and school sharks up to 5 feet. Nannies on the lumps. You got a massive kingfish on those nanny marks too. And the Sambos will start getting better over winter as well. So Ryan from Reef Encounters at Marion Bay with all the info. He does a sensational job out in that part of the world.
Fantastic. We've got a text come through. Hi, Ned. This was a 2-hour catch at a special spot in Port Augusta. Ooh. 45 centimetre whiting and 750 centimetre kingies.
Well done. Well done. I'm just looking at this now. Look at me on the iPad. Oh, well done. Well done. And a nice floodie there too. There's no name on the text line, but beautifully done. I might need those marks. Flick through the coordinates, please, after that.
Love that work. 18 minutes to 7. We still got the tip of the week and a little bit of a look ahead for the week ahead, but we're going to speak to our special guest, Aaron Hapgood, very shortly. It's 18 minutes to 7.
Join Jade Robrin in the studio every afternoon with 5AA's live video stream. Thanks to Foodland. With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
I like to call it a passion. I can be sitting relaxing. I'm spending this holiday locked in. Back then, wasn't worried about me though. In the gym, trying to work on my free throw. What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in.
The new Kia Seltos. That's what's poppin'. And yeah, it's got options. The new Kia Seltos. The word is out.
Brand new whip, just hopped in.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
Welcome to REA Claims. You're speaking with Kim. How can I help you?
Hi, yeah, I've backed my car into a pole.
Was it a Stobie pole?
It was a Stobie pole on Colin Grove Avenue in Broadview.
Oh, near the Lawn Bowls Club.
Yeah.
I know the one.
How do you know that one?
When you have RAA Comprehensive Car Insurance, your claims are always handled right here in SA. RAA, helping you every day to
Keep on moving on.
T's and C's apply. Consider the PDS and TMD. Product issued by RAA Insurance, available from RAA.
Every 2 years, if you're age 50 to 74, you'll get a blue and white package from the National Bowel Cancer Screening Program. It's your free bowel screening test kit, and it could save your life. Here's what to do. Take it to the bathroom and put it right where you can see it. Not in a drawer, but on the bench top or on the toilet seat or in the middle of the floor. So the next time you have to go, you'll remember to use it. Please don't put off the chance to save your life. Get to it. Visit bowelcancer.org.au for more information.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. Here's who you can support around Adelaide. Amadio wines are created with passion, crafted with experience, and appreciated with enthusiasm. Use code 5AA for 20% off their award-winning wines at amadiowines.com.au. Mark the 50th anniversary of The Way We Were with renowned Kim Perling Trio, interpreting the music of Barbara Streisand. Sunday, June 25th. Book at capri.org.au.
Go on, Nana, do it. No. Floor it.
Get back to doing what you love with a mobility aid from Respirico Scooter World. Whether it's the best seat in the house or a little something to help you balance, Respirico Scooter World can help make your world more accessible. Visit Respirico Scooter World or request a mobile visit for all your sleep, respiratory and mobility needs. Search Respirico Scooter World today.
Tax time is Triton time at Agostino Mitsubishi. Your new Triton is ready for immediate delivery, no waiting. And how's this for peace of mind? Get a 10-year warranty and 10-year cap price servicing on the entire Mitsubishi range. Don't muck around. Tax time is coming, so make the most of it. Get behind the wheel of a new Triton ready for immediate delivery from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth. Exclusions and conditions including Mitsubishi servicing apply.
On 1395 Adelaide's 5AA, this is the 5AA Fishing Show, presented by Ned McHenry.
It certainly is. 14 minutes to 7. We've still got our tip of the week to come, and John Blake to follow us after 7 o'clock. But Nettie, time to get to our special guest.
Sammy, what about this text line? We spoke about our great guest, Aaron Habgood, joining us. Well known within all the fishing circles. Red is one of Australia's premier fishermen. He's an owner and director of web-based platform Salt Guide, which essentially teaches you how to fish, and he also co-hosts with Paddy Dangerfield with Real Adventures podcast on SEN. The text line is going absolutely mad with questions, so let's get him on. Red Habgood, thank you for joining us.
G'day, guys. Thank you for the invite, Nettie, and pleasure to be here.
That was a very nice intro, wasn't it? I got around you there. One of Australia's best fishermen. You'd be happy with that, wouldn't you?
Well, I was a bit worried when you said you opened the text line and it was coming in. I'm not sure what you're going to get there. It was a little bit worrying, though, but I'll take the introduction. Thanks, Nettie.
It's all positive, mate, so don't worry. You don't have to stress. Heaps of questions coming through around whiting, so we'll get to that. But I want to talk about something quickly. You've been crossing our border from Victoria and coming to our beautiful state and catching these barrels down at Port MacDonald. How good is that fishery? I speak about it all the time.
Oh, I've been trying to claim that spot as part of Victoria now, Nettie, for a little bit. I think I had you as a guest on the show a little while ago, and I tried to claim it off you there. But no, it's I love making the trip down to Port MacDonald. It's just a very welcoming place. Like, it's just it's a different place, but it's a great place. The pub's great, the fishing's 10 out of 10, and all the local guys, like the charter boys and whatnot, often you go into places and you're the intruder and you're not quite often welcomed all the time, but for some reason Port Mac's just a place that we've always been welcome, and everyone is. They weigh the fish for you. It's I really love going there.
We had a cracking trip down there. We how many fish did we release? We released a couple, kept one. We didn't get an opportunity to have a beer at the pub with you, but I know that pub does a fantastic feed under beer as well, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. I'm unlucky these days. I don't really get to have a beer too much anymore, but I tell you what, last year and the year before when I was, they always had cold Jamo there, so that was always good.
You love Jamo, don't you?
Of course, yeah, I used to love Jamo, but now I do like all their food there. It's just that old school country style pub where you just walk in, you wear your thongs, or even last time I left my boots in the car, you just wore no shoes in there, and you just feel comfortable. Like it's just a really, really nice place.
Absolutely. Hey, I mentioned Salt Guide quickly. So you're an owner and director of that web-based platform. It is basically just a mecca for fishing content and information and how-tos, exactly how to go about your fishing. And you live and breathe it. Like, you catch more fish than pretty much anyone in the country. The text line, honestly, is going absolutely off, particularly with questions with whiting, but we'll get to that. Explain to us about the variety of species that you target and how you go about your fishing, because you speak about fishing smarter, not harder.
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's what you just said then. Fishing's work for me. So as much as I would never change my job for the world, but it's still a job. So going out and targeting a species, using my time as effective as possible to catch fish and lining everything up is the thing that I have to do. And it's just the way business is to make money. It's just the way you have to. Every business is the same. It's as efficient as you can, and that's what we're trying to actually teach people in themselves to save them money and time. That's what Salt Guide has been based around. And I'm a part of a great team there. We've got Crago. Crago's, well, don't get me wrong, he can catch a fish or two now. That's for sure. He used to do guides with me, but him and his wife run the backside of it. And what I mean by that, it's just like a full-time job, just running the tech side of it. It's a whole different world that he does. Then I've got Wayne over in Western Port, who also is co-owner with Craig and myself, and he teaches people over in the Western Port and obviously the other side, oceans. He travels, like he was up at the Glenelg the other day. He'll travel everywhere for the fish, and he loves his kingfish. Wherever the kingfish are, he'll go. And just basically, we write a report that comes out each week. And I'll be honest, it's more of a Victorian-based platform with the reports side of things. So we write reports that come out every week, so you guys can go to a certain area and catch fish. And fishing is not what it used to be 20 years ago, Ned. 20 years ago, it was all secrets, this and that. It's not. Facebook come out years ago, Instagram. It's not what it is. It's about helping people and teaching people how to fish. And that's what the platform we've built. I'm obviously Port Phillip Bay and whatever I can cover in my reports. But the biggest part of it is the videos.
Yep.
So we have hundreds of videos on there that teach you to understand moons, to understand tides, to understand weather, swell, whatever species it is. It doesn't just work here in Victoria. It works everywhere. And we've got a lot of members. We have members from South Australia, from Queensland, that just love the content because it's when I say basic, it's not necessarily basic. It starts from the start, but goes right up to the content that everyone wishes they can get in their hands. And the good thing is you can be out chasing a barrel bluefin tuna, log into your subscription on the phone, and you're away. And you can, how do you put that live bait on? Or how did Wayne do this? Or how did I do that? Like it's a really good platform that we've been lucky enough to build. And we love doing what we do.
And you are teaching people things, and people that want to learn. The text line's going mad. Kevin here, I mean, this is a question that I'm interested in how you go about it. Sorting through smaller whiting to get bigger fish. Is there any tips and tricks with that? Like if you're going through smaller schools of whiting, is there a way to extract those bigger fish, or is it about moving and heading a little bit deeper or bigger tides? How do you think about that?
Yeah, that is a good question. It's something that I do a lot of. You'll notice the majority of my whiting that I catch are bigger fish. So the way I know I shouldn't even say that, speaking to the South Australian guys, but
you're whiting a babies, mate.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm going to be talking about bloody 40-centimetre whiting here, and you guys, that's going to be you'll be throwing them back over there.
40s, just born, nice.
But basically, the techniques that we use is fishing faster water. So if you can find tidal water as such, tidal water and stronger water is the ideal situation. Ocean fishing, which is you guys would have a lot of that down that way, and I've been fortunate enough to fish Tumby Bay and the likes. They're big whiting, and ocean fishing the secrets are deep. I like deep water too, but also, like I said, that faster moving water if possible to find. But when you find a school of fish in an area, traditionally they're going to be that sort of size fish as such.
Yep.
So if you want to change the whole size of the school, you're going to have to move a distance to try and find a different patch of fish.
Well, there's a tip in itself. So the size of the fish in that school are usually going to be quite consistent. So if you want to move on...
Very often they're just very similar size fish, yep.
Hey, got a question here on the text line too. Love watching red squid fishing. Talk to him about jigs and what colour he uses. And I know you are going to absolutely hate that question.
I reckon that's a little cheeky dig there at me. The question that we're both having a chuckle at is the colour. Now, squid is probably we catch hundreds and hundreds of squid a year.
I've spoken to you about this. Why is squid jig colours not important? Explain that.
It's all about the fall rate of a jig. So squid jigs have their sizes, and I'm just going to reel off the average sizes. We'll go 2.5, we'll go 3, 3.5.
Yep.
They're the three jigs that sell commonly at the stores. Now, it's all about the way a jig falls through the water column. So it's about how it falls, and what I mean by that is that's when the squid will actually eat the squid jig. So quite often, if you hold a squid jig mid-water and just leave it in one spot, the squid will just come up back and forward and hesitate to grabbing it. If it's actually dropping, the squid will eat the jig as it drops. So you need to let the jig actually fall. The colour aspect of it, they say, all the scientists, squid are colour blind. So they see your shades, so your black,
the silhouette more so than the actual colour. 100%. They don't give a crap if it's orange or whatever it is. It's maybe a darker or a lighter jig, maybe?
Yes. Yes, that's the one, Nettie. The white or the black. That's the only two colours. And when I say colours, it's the shade side of things. Whatever colour the shade gives off, that's the colours that I recommend. I honestly have a handful of jigs under my bait board, and all honesty, I would never look at the colour. We all have our favourite jigs, don't get me wrong, but I never look at the colour when I'm chucking a jig on. It's all about the fall rate. If you want to get fussy with the colours, and I know, don't get me wrong, tackle store owners need to make $1 or $2, but they'll say the colours are working better here and there. They won't like what I'm saying.
Hey, Adelaide Tackle World Metro, they're a sponsor of the show, mate, and then they need jig sales, so come on.
And they will have a tremendous range, and if you like purples and greens, go get all three.
Good man.
Because whatever is in your head and whatever catches you fish, that works. But I can promise you one thing, get that sink rate, get the variety of, I'd go the variety of the weight, and then you'll catch, I promise you, plenty more squid.
Red, just before you go, final one, I'm just choosing one more text. How long do I have to get to Port Mac? Someone's just asked. How long do you reckon those barrels are going to run there for?
Well, to tell you the truth, they've been shut down a bit for the last week.
Okay, yep.
So I was heading there at the start of the week, and I didn't go because they shut down. Speaking to the boys there, I think the fish will still be there in very good numbers. If you look outside as we speak, I'm not sure how cloudy it is over in South Australia, but it's no good here.
Beautiful here, mate. Better than Victoria.
It probably would be. We have nothing over here. But that moon will be shining very, very hard. It'll be very big
full
and bright.
Moon.
We're on the back of that full moon. So what happens is we have those ordinary tides. Everything slows up. And if you speak to commercial guys at work, out in the deep water overnight, chasing tuna, marlin, swords, over full moons, they fish overnight. So the reason they fish overnight, you have your bigger tides, and the fish feed with the light over the night sky. So what's happening is, I reckon the fish will feed overnight while this moon's doing this. I think this moon has been a worse moon than we've had for probably the past, say, the whole season so far. This full moon has been the worst one we've had, and I reckon as soon as he halves in size, they'll fire up within the next week.
Good call. Okay, so for anyone getting down there, listen to that and act on it. Get down to Port MacDonald and chase one of these barrels. Aaron, thank you so much for joining us. Have a look on his socials, guys. Red's Fishing Adventures, I think it is. This bloke catches more fish than anyone in Australia. Thank you for joining us, and thanks for the wisdom, mate.
No, thanks for having me, guys, anytime, and I look forward to chatting again. Thanks for listening.
Excellent work. There you go. Aaron Habgood, who's a very special guest of the show. Do we have time for a tip? I reckon we've got about 20 seconds.
20 seconds?
Nettie's Fishing Tip of the Week.
Okay, I am going to be quick. You think I speak quickly normally? Just wait for this. Now I've only got 15. All right, I'm moving. It's about burley. So, now, for anyone who doesn't know what burley is, it's like leaving for a fish a little crumb in the staff room, and then there's a big muffin at the end of the crumb trail. It's about delivering scent and smell into the water to entice feeding. So how do we deliver our burley? Usually it's in a small burley bucket. And I know what you're thinking, Sammy. You're going, how do I get those big burley logs in there? Well, I've got a trick for you, Sammy, and this is Ned's tip. Get a bucket from Bunnings that's watertight, drill some holes in it, and attach some rope with a nice brick in there. That way you can put big burley logs and huge volumes of burley in there. Take it right to the bottom so you've got more volume, and you're going to get a bigger burley trail. So for your gummies, your school sharks, your big snappers, things like that, you can get those burley logs in where normally you couldn't fit them in a burley cage. So a bit of a DIY tip, bucket, watertight, drill the holes and put the burley logs in there and it'll go right on the bottom.
Ned McHenry, you are an just filled with amazing ideas right there. Fantastic. It's time for us to go. News time. John Blake to come up next. See you tomorrow.
Are you ready for this? Let's go. Mawson Lakes Mazda's end of financial year clearance sale is on now. And we're talking great deals right across the entire range of Mazdas. You'll find plenty of new Mazdas in stock, all models and colours to suit your style, or drive away in a low-K demo. And they're available for immediate delivery. Get ready and go to Mawson Lakes Mazda's end of financial year clearance sale. Just a short drive from the city.
It's time to raise the bar. If you're organising an event, anything from a small meeting to a grand gala, you'll know there are many things to consider. So trust the experts at Adelaide Convention Centre to help you elevate your vision. With the support from our team at every stage, you'll be amazed at what can happen in turning each aspect into an unforgettable experience for both you and your guests. Contact our team and discover the magic to elevate your vision at Adelaide Convention Centre.
Too many bottles, cans and containers